And we're live. We're back. We're here. It's Monday. So that means it's time for MCU Mondays.
MCU Mondays.
Ah, yeah, my shirt's dirty. I'm wearing a drunken, multicolored Homer.
Slacker.
David's not even here right now. But I am your host, Chris, and I am back with my co-host, Debbie. And we are missing today our usual guest, David, as it is his birthday, and he went out for a birthday, and so now he's fired, naturally, because you don't take a day off for any reason. No, he's entitled to his time off, so he might join us a little bit later. Depends. I think he went out for an excellent steak dinner with his family, and
steak looks very good.
Yeah, as much as we all know he'd rather be here with us, we understand that the family comes first. So. Your MCU family will be here waiting for you when you are done. But as I said, I am still here, and Debbie is still here. So thank goodness for that. Debbie, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. It's been a nice, lazy day. I worked from home, but...
Lazy Monday.
Lazy Monday. We had storms. Power went out for a split second. Nothing major. Thank God it wasn't during this show. You could have been doing it by yourself.
That'll happen to me. Yeah, and then mine will just snap out, for no reason, not even any reason. But that's the good stuff. So yeah, today we are back to talk about She-Hulk. She-Hulk episode 2. We're going to be getting into it. These are shorter episodes. The length of a traditional 30-minute show, meaning about 22 minutes, because that used to account for commercial time. So this episode did end at the 22-minute mark. There was a short after the credits thing, but I still think it leaves people like me, for instance, like it ends and I'm like, oh wow, I guess that was it. So
I know, it's like, blink and you miss it.
People were wondering, people were like, how come She-Hulk gets 9 episodes or whatever and this only got 6? And I was like, well, if you're looking at total time spent, they could have. But you know what? Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit more once we actually get into the meat of this episode, because there were some things there, some little teases and surprises on what might be to come. But we'll get to that after we have our theme song. Here we go.
You should just cue the music.
Still cracks me up.
That's right. Here we are, Debbie and Chris, the dynamic duo.
I will be talking for myself. This is an open and shut case, and anybody who can't see that is a savage and an idiot.
And that's exactly how it goes.
I'm gonna have to get some more clips from that episode to go with the She-Hulk attorney at law. I'm an expert on bird law. And then we need to get you and David to watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia so you can get more of those references. It's a great show! But anyway, the show we're here to talk
who's
about.
Joined us so far.
Yes, I wanted to say hi to the people in the comments. It's out now. It is. Alicia, who probably ducked out of here to go watch the episode. It's out now. Gotta go. All right, how's that for timing? Eddie Birdie in the house. What's up, Eddie? And we also got Robert Young. Hey guys, hope you're good. Glad to be joining MCU Mondays for the first time now that I'm all caught up. So you got all caught up on the MCU stuff and now you're ready to go.
Yeah, we want to hear your comments as we move along the show.
And it doesn't necessarily, if you got something you wanted to say on something else, well, these episodes of She-Hulk are, like I said, only 22 minutes long, so throw something out there that doesn't have anything to do with the episode. And maybe we'll end up talking about it. We're going to need some stuff to talk about. Yeah. But also, if you do have stuff to say about the episode, feel free to tell us that too, because then we can talk about that. We want to see
the previous episode.
Yeah, throw it out there.
We don't care.
Exactly. We want to hear what you're thinking about, because then that lets us know, hey, maybe that's what they want to hear us talking about. So yes, keep the comments going. Let us know what you think. But actually, let's just get started talking about this episode. End of the last episode, of course, ended with her transforming in the middle of a courtroom and stopping what appeared to be a supervillain attack. And so naturally, this episode begins with kind of the fallout from that.
Yeah, she's seen as a hero, but not necessarily with the firm or any other firm for that fact.
Yeah, so the first thing we see is like all the different news reports that are flooding, and it's like, there's a new superhero, and she stopped. And that's like another interesting thing is like, she doesn't want to be called a superhero, and apparently the person that she stopped isn't a supervillain, but a super influencer, which made me want to leap off of a bridge. And I was like, a super influencer. Oh my God, it's even better than a normal influencer. Can't get enough of those telling me what to think and what to buy and believe. Oh, now we've got a super powered one. Clearly, with great power comes great responsibility does not apply equally across the board. Oh man, super influencer. And then they were saying in this trap, they said that she started a commotion or whatever in like traffic court. So this super influencer was apparently in traffic court for something. One thing led to another, and she's breaking through the wall into a whole nother courtroom. Now, if that was just a temper tantrum, like, there's no way. What was happening in that traffic court? I'm mystified by this. I want to know. I want to know what led to her. What was so bad in traffic court, which is a pain in the ass.
Maybe they're going to arrest her and, she decided that wasn't for her. And I think Chris just froze on me.
To like go rampaging into the next room. He probably wouldn't do it.
Oh my, I'm left here to talk to myself. So. Oh boy. And the bad thing about that is I can't stop the show because he's in control of it. So that's really bad. This could be an all-nighter, folks. Stick with me and find out. But what did everybody think about the first few minutes of this show where she gets fired? And now I am truly alone. Where she gets fired and she goes through that whole thing where nobody else wants to hire her. What did anybody think about that? Oh, you're back. Thank God.
Okay, so yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, I had lose service, and then some horrifying person shows up in the chat at the exact same time. It was just
that was
nightmare scenario.
I'm just like, okay.
It's a good thing I'm not actually the Hulk. Be hulking out right now. Especially after seeing that super influencer thing. I mean, like, come on.
So anyway, I was saying maybe they were going to arrest her for some kind of traffic violation, and she wasn't happy about that. So decided to just, break the wall, literally breaking the fourth wall. And
yeah, well, breaking a wall, certainly busting in. And so, yeah, anyway, she busts in, is stopped by She-Hulk. And then in a brilliant move, really, the other side, they were going to lose that court case. They're like, nah, you know what? We'll just get it declared a mistrial.
Yeah, which worked, conveniently for them because they ended up hiring her, Holloway. Grant.
Yeah, but they got it declared a mistrial because they were like, oh well, since you saved their lives, now the jury's biased to vote for your side, and it's like, What was I supposed to do? Not save him? It's like, well, no, you should have saved him, but
yeah, it's
you
a catch
lose the case.
22.
And,
You did good, but we're gonna have to fire you.
It's like the trolley question. Do you let the trolley run over one person, or do you win your court case?
Well, we're pretty popular with the bots tonight.
Yeah, Simpson made bot has. I've blocked Bart Baby, Barty Bart, Stony Simpson, and Simpson Man so far. They just keep coming back under a different screen. So you can just ignore that. I'll keep blocking them. Oh, and now it's Cole.
See, you jinxed us.
Well, I guess he ran out of bots because he said the exact same stuff, and his screen name is Cole is here. Now my opinion will be silenced, and I just blocked it. It says, so now it says Cole is here. Now my opinion will be silenced. Was blocked, and it's like, well, if you come into a room and you just spam offensive stuff into the chat, don't be surprised if you get blocked. And then, whoa, yeah, there it is. So it looks like I'm going to spend most of this entire episode just blocking the same person over and over. But that's fine. I can I can do that. I'm capable of doing that. That's cool. In the meantime, we'll keep talking about what happened in the episode. So, yeah, they end up losing the court case, but she doesn't actually find that out until she goes to the bar. So she's in the bar, and everyone is cheering for her, calling her She-Hulk. And she's like, oh man, I can't even be a Hulk without being a derivative of the Hulk. And it's like, well, he came first. He came second. And you literally are just a derivative of the Hulk. That is what you are. Like, don't. But then naturally her friend, who's a complete, or not friend, her coworker, the guy who's.
Oh, Dennis.
Yeah, the guy that's just a prick. And they emphasize the fact that he's still a prick. Because he basically accuses her of, like, cheating. It's like, oh, it's kind of unsportsmanlike of you to debut superpowers just so you can win a case. And she's like, who would do that? And then to show... Yeah, and it was like, that is kind of a conspiracy theory there. Like, I don't think she was holding out on the superpowers just so when randomly attacked, like, the attack wasn't part of her plan. So who would see it that way? But then it's just like, let's double down on the fact that this guy's a piece of shit. Because then he's like, oh, I see a hot chick over there. I'm going to go talk to it. And I'm just like, okay, Are we getting it? Women are, according to this guy, women are objects. And isn't he just a giant flaming piece of shit? Yes. Oh my goodness. Let's see. So in the meantime, I've blocked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like 13 people so far, which is great because that's like the most bots we've ever gotten. So we're breaking records
good for our algorithm.
I have no idea, but I'll just keep it up. They're not even saying anything worth mentioning. It's just horrifying, nonsensical bullcrap. At least if they were coming in here saying something about the episode, I could say, let's talk about what they're saying about the episode, but it has nothing to do with that. It's just horrifying nonsense.
Hey, Dave.
Oh, David's here.
Was it well done?
Happy birthday, David. We won't know until he sees that, but hopefully, I assume the steak was good. It was his birthday. We're definitely gonna hope so. Mr. Zod's Phantom Zone. Hey. And David says there's a Wolverine leak in this one.
Oh yeah. Well, Easter egg.
Tell us about it, Debbie.
When her and Nikki, her paralegal best friend / co-worker, when Jen's sitting there looking at the computer and it shows the computer, and off to the very right side, you see there's three little Easter eggs in there. The top one is Iron Man shoes, gym shoes that are for sale. The second one is man with metal claws gets into a bar fight or something. So Wolverine. I forget which one. Yes. And then the third one is I think it said metal
There's a
guy sticking out of
statue.
the ocean.
Why is there a statue of a giant dude in the ocean?
Yes. And that's Eternals.
So they're finally addressing it, although barely anything at all. I mean, would throw off the rotation of the Earth. The gravitational center of the planet is changed. That thing came from it. Well, no, then we'd be getting into an Eternals conversation, which would be quite possibly even worse than a She-Hulk conversation. Actually, I guarantee it would be worse than a She-Hulk conversation.
Yeah. Chris will go off on the Eternals. So.
It's easy. It's a terrible film. So anyway, let's see. And Mr. Zod says this show is just bad.
Really?
I see a lot of people aren't huge fans of it. Look, I still think it's too short.
Well, I agree with that.
It's too short. And then, so like, this is 9 episodes. I think they could have condensed it into. They could have done 6 and made them a little bit longer and had a little bit more happening in them. But they also wanted to say, like, this is just a comedy show or it's a lawyer comedy show. But there's not a huge amount of comedy, I don't think. And so far, there really hasn't even been that much lawyering. I don't know. We'll see. But there hasn't been that much time for things to happen. Like, it's the same problem with the other MCU shows, like the shows they've done. People are expecting like a full movie in every episode, and that's not what it is. It's more like the story of that you might put in a movie over the entire thing, and so you get to see more of that. This is even different than those. It's shorter than those.
Yeah, this is more of a sitcom level, like Friends or. I don't know. It's been so long since I watched a sitcom, but Friends was the only thing that could come to mind. But yeah, and I don't think it's meant to be a serious show. It's kind of making fun of things here and there, breaking the fourth wall, and it's only the second episode, so I'm sure we'll get into some Laureen stuff. This episode was like meeting her family. Well, the fallout of, what happened and how she got hired and meeting her family, which I don't know how many of you are, but I was thrilled to see Mark Lynn Baker from Perfect Friends. If you remember that show back in the, back in the 80s. No, Balky? Oh my gosh. Great show. Anyways, yeah. He's like an sitcom icon from back in the 80s. So it was great to see him. And the family didn't seem too fazed because they've already dealt with Bruce being a Hulk, so they didn't care.
Yeah, they've already had a Hulk before, so like, you're not even the first Hulk we've had in the family. They did kind of make it's just they played that family scene also, so like, oh, let's cheer for the son who's a manager at wherever now, Walmart, Best Buy. Let's cheer for him and then like rag on the fact that she got fired for hulking out when she was the assistant DA or like the deputy district attorney.
Yeah.
And the only reason she got fired is for saving people's lives. So let's not. And then they all immediately start trying to like jump in. Like, she's like, oh, my wife's a stylist, so you should let her fix you up. And it's like, weren't she the guy that was just like crapping on her for not having a job a second ago? Like, she is a lawyer too. But then they make it hard for her to get another job until one falls right into her lap. So there's not even a lot of time. It's not even this full episode is she jobless. It's like pretty immediate. She's back at work. She accepts the job without even knowing what it is. She finds out what it is when she's actually there. And for all the stance they're making on like not being judged for being a woman or being able to do, and then she's like, she shows up and it's like, by the way, we only hired you because you are a superpowered person who turns green and you can still do stuff in a courtroom while being green. So we want you to be green and be the face of this company. And she's like, oh, I was like, but you need a job and they're paying you a lot. So at the same time, yeah, I'll do it. And earlier in this episode, she goes, oh, being a superhero is just for billionaires and narcissists and adult orphans for some reason.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you literally walked into that bar as She-Hulk because they're cheering for you. So does that make you a narcissist, or does that make you're not a billionaire yet, but it's like, this superhero thing isn't for me. Immediately accepts a job where you have to appear as a superhero all the time, and that's the reason you got the job. And because I guess she can Hulk out, as it were, and still do lawyering stuff. Like, for a long time, the Hulk couldn't do that. If the Hulk showed up, he wasn't just gonna be like, bruh, get away from my bar. That's new Hulk, okay? Hulk used to show up and smash. Like, we actually miss the days when Hulk would show up and smash. I would love to see a return to the days when you saw Hulk show up, there would be smashing. I want it to happen. I want to see it. I don't know. And maybe we will see it. Maybe we will, because also in this episode, we see the departure of the Hulk. He's on a spaceship. She calls him, and we'll talk about Abomination in a second, but I do want to talk about where the Hulk was going, because she calls him after she meets Abomination. She's like, you guys are cool now, right? And he's like, look, that fight was so long ago, I was a different person. Literally. Because that was, of course, Ed Norton.
Ed Norton.
Yep, and that was a great film, and that film's better than She-Hulk is so far, so deal with it.
No, I'm gonna have to. I'm enjoying it. It's fun. I like it. Outside the fact it's too short, but yeah.
I mean, I don't feel like it's as fun as it could be, and maybe I'm comparing it too much to Deadpool. But just like when she's breaking the fourth wall in this episode, she's mostly just complaining. It sucks that I have to work in this place and they only hired me to do this, and grr, this sucks. Bye.
Well,
and I'm
I
just
think
like,
anybody
that's a great...
would feel that way. I mean, if
but
they only hired me because I was able to do
that's what you'd
something.
be feeling. I'm not saying that that's not a valid feeling, sure. But where's the joke? Like, where is a joke? Where are the jokes? There's supposed to be like a comedy. There's not really that much comedy happening. Yeah, and maybe I just felt that way because it's too short. I don't know.
But like I said, it's only the second episode. Now,
it is only the second
episode. If we're at the 8th episode and, it's still like this, and maybe we have an issue, but...
Eddie said if only the bots left a like. Yeah, I've blocked about 20 so far because apparently this person is super mad at the MCU, I think, because they keep coming under different YouTube names that are like, the MCU is terrible and blah, the MCU. And I was like, this is what you do with your day? You wait for someone to do a live stream and then you just attack it with a bunch of nonsense spam? Is that effective? Are you getting something out of this? I don't know. Whatever. What are you gonna do? But yeah, leave a like.
Get some kind of joy out of it.
Leave a like next time.
Or subscribe.
No, just get out of here for real. Leamont, they seem to want to use She-Hulk as a gimmick for a show instead of using it
properly.
Probably the way that it properly, yeah. And so I actually think this show would work better as a gimmick show. That is the gimmick, I think, and I think that's why this show could do better later. It's going to get off to a rough start, but later she is the superhero attorney for superheroes. I think you can have a lot of great episodes where it's reliant on who she's representing or who she's filing a case against, who she's, not representing, but attacking, I guess, in the court of law. But so seeing these superheroes instead of normally out saving the world, that's your standard superhero show. In this, you're going to see them in the courtroom dealing with courtroom stuff. And I think there's a lot of fun for that potentiality. And yes, you can have a lot of cameos from other characters because they're only there for their court time. It's not like a full superhero team up. It's no, she's helping me with my court case because, something, some law was broken. And so there's I think there's chance for a lot of fun there. There's chance for a lot of cameos there, but it's also the kind of thing that's going to be more successful like later. Like once she's set up, established, like this is it, this is what she does. And that's what they're doing right now. They have to establish where she is, what she's doing, and why before they can get to like the regularity of that. Mm-hmm. But like Debbie, you were saying, I think they're short episodes. And so it's setting it up is taking a big chunk. It's already taken the first 2 episodes. I was thinking you could have shown these 2 at the same time, but they probably didn't want to do that because then you'd have people expecting longer things, and these are going to be short. So yeah, I think it has potential as like a gimmick kind of show. Do right by her and have maybe an overarching thing over the season that she's fighting, but you can have those cameos and those things in the courtroom. I think there's plenty of room for that.
Yeah, I don't know how she was like in the comics. I mean, I know she broke the fourth wall on the comics, but I'm not sure, was it a pretty good balance of being funny and being serious, or was it more like this, or, which way did it go?
Mm-hmm.
And I keep meaning to at least read a couple of them to kind of get a feel for it, and I keep getting to, so.
And we'll see more, like you said, as the show goes on. This is only episode 2, so we'll get more time as her in She-Hulk and she breaks the wall as Jessica Walters as well. So both of them, it's not like only when she's She-Hulk does she break. No, she does it with both. Actually, when she was talking to Bruce on the phone and he says, "I'm a different person," literally, she looks right at the camera and goes, "Ha ha." And so, there's definitely like some stuff like that. I don't know. And it's probably my fault for comparing it so much to Deadpool, but I think of Deadpool and just like, and this is it's a different show. It's a different show than Deadpool is a movie. And if I want more Deadpool, I should probably wait for Deadpool. Stop expecting it of She-Hulk. And Robert said Moon Knight was mostly funny until I really got into it. And yeah, Moon Knight started out, I mean, we were laughing at someone with a mental disorder, but it was amusing to watch him fall out of bed and wake up in scary places. And people are probably thinking of that, it reminds me of the last time I went out drinking too heavily. I don't remember what happened, and I woke up in a strange place tied to a bed.
Why am I tied to bed?
That's a Tuesday for me. It's
just a normal day.
So, yeah, I think we're going to have to see more of She-Hulk to really... You can't judge it based upon just these episodes. But I also can see where some people are coming from. It is short. It's shorter than even the other MCU stuff, and people were complaining that those were too short. So the length is going to be difficult for them to overcome. You're going to use more comedy in there, especially if you're promoting it as a comedy show and you only get 22 minutes. You got to have more jokes. There were some funny moments in there. In fact, one of them, or a couple of them, were when she went to go see Tim Roth. And as Grant said down here, said her humanity struck off when She-Hulk shows power. Tim Roth stole the episode. And I'm going to agree with that. A, because I love Tim Roth. And B, because it's cool to see him. I think it's fun to see him anytime. But it's going to be enjoyable to see him as her client. I think like there's going to be some room for even more comedy there. But for instance, when she goes in, she steps immediately over the yellow line, which the guy told her not to do. And I'm like, how are you not? I don't know. If I'm going into a place where the Abomination is, and this guy's giving me the list of rules, and he's like, and we're going to do our best, but we can't guarantee that you'll walk out of there alive, I would try and follow the rules that he listed. There were only like 3. Don't step over the yellow line. One of the first things she does. And she like freaks out. So there is, so that's some of the comedy that's in there. There's physical comedy. Just like earlier at the bar when she goes from being She-Hulk back to regular, and she like basically falls and smacks her head on the table and falls down. And then she goes like, oh, different metabolism.
Yeah.
And then she's
really drunk.
drunk talking to her boss at the time right before he fires her. So yeah, there's a little bit of physical comedy in there. Tim Roth, though, has definitely got me excited to see what's coming up next. And that's actually go on.
I like listening to his little viewpoint. You know, he was blaming the government, which
she even says when she's talking to Bruce, she's like, he made some very convincing arguments, and he does make very convincing arguments because he's like, look, this was a while ago. At the time, I was working for your government, working to protect people from the Hulk, who was very dangerous and on a rampage. And again, your government, who I was working for, was working to stop him. I did what I did in the name of your government. And she's like, yeah, but then you freaked out and attacked a bunch of people in Harlem. And he's like, that's because they pumped me full of the bloody super soldier serum.
Yeah, and he even says, I thought I was going to be Captain America, or, like the next Captain America. That's what he was expecting. Nobody expected him to, well, maybe the government did. I don't know. But nobody, at least him, didn't expect to turn into this abomination. I mean, that's not what he was wanting. He thought he was going to be like Captain America.
And that's what he says. I thought I was going to be Captain Bloody America. Not quite. And I've already seen, I should have downloaded it. But I saw a meme basically somebody made of Dr. Erskine when he's talking to Steve Rogers saying what the super soldier serum does is enhances what a person already is. So good becomes great, bad becomes worse. And so in his case, obviously, not to mention you've got Hulk stuff smashed in there, because this was not just purely, we gave him the super soldier serum and thought that was, no, it was an experiment. It was an experimental super soldier serum based on that original design, but also that had been worked on in Hulk genes and gamma radiation.
Which I'm sure they didn't tell him about that.
Yeah. And I think I was just watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they were talking about super soldier serum, and somebody's talking to Phil Coulson and they go, looks like it was another ill-conceived attempt for a super soldier serum. And he says something like, literally every attempt other than Captain America has been ill-conceived. And it's like, yeah, look at half the superheroes or villains in Marvel were like, oh yeah, so we were trying to create super soldiers and we made an abomination. We made a Hulk. We made a Deadpool. That's how Deadpool, that's whoops. And not that was super soldier serum, but they were trying to make super soldiers. Mm-hmm. And where are the mutants? That's why it was cool to see that man fighting with claws thing. You hope that's, and they even said metal claws.
Yes.
So you're like, man, I really hope that seems to be, but they could show up. It's like, oh, it was a guy in a cat suit and he had metal claws like the Black Panther has.
Somebody on one of the Facebook Marvel sites that I follow, he made a post and totally embarrassed himself, but he was referring to that article title, and he thought they were talking about what is it, Hawkman?
Hawkman?
Yeah, he thought they were referring to Hawkman, and I'm like, have you watched an MCU movie? And everybody was just like, dude.
Also, isn't Hawkman DC?
I don't know.
Yeah, like Hawkman,
well, yeah, there is a Hawkman, but yeah, I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah, but can't help you there.
I laughed at reading all the posts. Namaste.
Yeah, I would say Tim Roth is going to be very enjoyable to watch during this show, and he set us up with some questions because when he was done talking about the super soldier serum, which does make him it makes you look at his character again. Like if you even went back and watched that Edward Norton movie, he's not just like an open-hearted, caring guy. Like he's not just this flower child. He's, as he said, he's a Russian-born, British-raised Royal Marines. He's a military man, and he, even in that movie, wanted to get his hands on that serum because he wanted to be stronger, more powerful, faster. So, but how much time has passed since then with him being in prison? Maybe he has changed, and he was working for the government, so you can't really just lay it all on his feet. He didn't make the serum and inject himself. They injected him. So yeah, I can definitely see how she's sympathetic, especially now that she just got superpowers against her will.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to have more empathy and sympathy for someone that like, oh, the government did this to me and now they're imprisoning me. So that's setting up some cool stuff there. David said, watch Shang-Chi this weekend. Lots of Easter eggs to this series. Well, yeah, like for the fact that Abomination was in that fight club fighting Wong, and then we see in Shang-Chi that he opens a portal for Abomination back to this room. So it's like, why is that happening? And how come your superhero prison isn't protected against magic? Do you know how easy it is to get out of your prison? It's just whip open a portal. Are you kidding? You need to get some better protection.
I wonder if they just like let him out like once a month to do Fight Club, and
well, that's going to be the interesting thing. We still
with
don't
the
know.
agreement he has to go back.
We still don't know like the timeline of when this happened, because that video of Abomination, it looked like it was like breaking news. Like this just dropped. Look, Abomination's out of prison. So as far as we know, it could have been she went to see him, she left. As soon as she leaves, Wong shows up, portals him out of there. They have a giant, like this could be happening at the same time as Shang-Chi.
I don't know. It takes place, well, at least on the Marvel timeline, it takes place between I think Moon Knight and Miss Marvel, if I'm correct.
Then that video should have been up there. It wouldn't have been breaking news. So I don't know. Like we're gonna have to see where this goes. But that was
it might have been like leaked footage from something that somebody's seen.
Yeah,
who knows?
I don't. It's just like weird timing that it would happen like now. It makes more sense that it was like something that just happened. But yeah, if it's something that leaked or so, who knows? Someone just trying to make life harder for them. For Jessica Walters.
I'm sure they'll go into more in depth.
Yeah, because that was the big end of the episode. Like, she's like, "Oh, I think I'm going to take on this new job, and look at me, I'm going to be a lawyer, and everything's going to be." And then it's like, she's like, "Oh, I've got a great defense, everything's already ready." And her new boss is like, "Well, turn on the news," and then,
oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it's like Abomination broke out of prison. It's like, oh, this would be to fight in an underground fight club. It's like, which raises the questions again. Wong brought him there. Wong put him back. So when she goes to the prison, it's going to be so much fun to watch her go in and try and talk to him again and have him be like, a wizard showed up and portaled me out of here. And then, so maybe we'll find out a little bit more about all that, because I've been wondering about that since Shang-Chi. It's like, why is Wong breaking him out of prison to do fight clubs? Are they short on cash? Couldn't you just rob a bank by, if you can portal anywhere? Why are you doing this?
Maybe he has to let it out every so often.
And maybe that's part of it, but there are probably other ways you could do that, constructive ways that wouldn't then get you more arrested than you already are. Which this is not going to be good. And then, so all of that aside, those are all questions that we've had even before the show came out. What is Wong doing with Abomination? And hopefully, he is set to appear in this show, so hopefully, Wong, you got some splaining to do. What have you been doing? Breaking out Abomination to host like fight clubs. You're not the Sorcerer Supreme anymore, okay? We're just... He talks about how Doctor Strange is irresponsible, and it's like, what are you doing with Abomination? It's super irresponsible. Nobody knows what you're doing. His lawyer is freaking out. Okay, you gotta go talk. You gotta go talk to this person.
Well, on Twitter, the director of this show, I forget her name, Chow or something like that. She said this third episode, I think she said something like it's going to freak the audience out or something. Like, I don't know if there's a really big cameo. I don't know if it's the Matt Murdock cameo, but something's going to, I guess, freak us out, or we'll be excited for.
Well, I think myself and pretty much everyone is excited for the Matt Murdock. She-Hulk's great, but we're waiting for Daredevil. Let's see. Okay, so he, more than just the Wong thing, more than just Howard's Abomination getting out to do these fight clubs, he mentioned that while he was in prison, he is in a prison pen pal club and he discovered his 7 soulmates.
Right.
Do we got any theories on that yet? I mean, the obvious one is it's something to do with Thunderbolts, but
I thought he was just talking about women. You know how women
but I think it was like a prison pen pal. I know like women write to men in prison. I think these were actually other prisoners. Like it's a prisoner pen pal system, so he's actually talking to other prisoners. And there is a screenshot. Let's see. There, let me see if I can zoom in on that. And so this is of an upcoming episode, and I think these might be some of those 7 soulmate people that he was pen paling with. The guy on the right there, and like what looks like the quills, I think that's a villainous type character, MCU character called the Porcupine. I'm not sure who some of those other ones are, but it definitely looks like they're doing some sort of talk show or gathering here. Let's see. Seize your true power is what it says on that placard behind him. So the thing that has Tim Roth's face on it behind him says seize your true power. So like it looks like it's a self-help group or like type thing. Group. Yeah, and these might have been all people that did some sort of villainous things, but now they're all reformed villains. So it's like find your inner strength. So definitely achieve everything is what that other one says behind him. So it'll be interesting to see like what these 7 soulmates are, what they have to do with everything. Before I saw this screenshot, my first thought was 7 soulmates. Oh, he's talking about some sort of Thunderbolts thing, because as soon as he gets out, he's going to go team up with these people. But no, I think this is something else entirely. Like this is going to be something that's going to be featuring during the She-Hulk show, and then maybe after that, he's going to go get away and hopefully join up with the Thunderbolts. We want to see Thunderbolts. We want to see who's on the team. We've got some good guesses. Abomination's up there. You know, Abomination, other side of Hulk. U.S. Agent is up there. U.S.
Kate
Agent,
Bishop.
other side of Steve Rogers, or other side of Captain America. Yelena, which is like the White Widow, other side of Black Widow. Who else? Oh, Taskmaster could potentially be one of them. I've seen that. I always hope for the real Taskmaster, not the one they had in the Black Widow movie, but whatever they end up doing, Taskmaster could definitely be a part of that team. And then there's always the question of will they do something with Thunderbolt Ross, who was supposed to be Red Hulk. Of course, William Hurt,
who died,
passed away, so they can't use him for that. It'll be interesting to see where they go with that. A lot of people are looking forward to Thunderbolt, so it'll just be interesting to see where they go with that. And that's why my mind was like already on Thunderbolts before he even said anything. I was like, oh look, there's Abomination. Oh, Thunderbolts. And then he was like, by 7 soulmates, and I was like, who? What?
Robert was asking about MCU Monday shirts. There's none for sale.
You can check the link. They're on the Geek News Now merch page. So you should be able to find them on the link that is in the description of this video. And I'll see if I can add them to my It's a Vase page as well. But yeah, the MCU Monday shirts are available, should be available at the link that is in the description of every episode. Grant, thanks for joining us. I understand it's late. Stuart being late. I'm still late. Just a few sex chat links tonight.
Just a few.
Just like, yeah. No, seriously, like if I scroll up here in the chat, I'm gonna count at the end of the night. Maybe I'll take some screenshots. I blocked about like 30 accounts. There was just the same person.
It was rapid
showing
fire.
up under different accounts and just posting the same bullcrap stuff. And so I'm just like block. That's what I was doing the first half of this show. Just like block. My internet disconnects. I'm like, great. Now let's just see how many messages I come back to with this nonsense. It's good to see people excited about MCU Mondays, I gotta say. Even if they're just bots spamming sex nonsense. Yeah, it's good to see a crowd. Oh, yeah. Good Lord. Okay. I'll have a look after this stream. Yeah, check that out for me, and I'll see if I can add them to my other page as well, because I want people to get those shirts. They're great shirts. Debbie's wearing one right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Did we talk about everything in this episode of She? I mean, we got up to the end. I guess the only other thing is like the after the credits, which is just some family. She's super strong now. Yeah. Like she's super strong now, so she's like, oh, let me lift the car so Dad can change the tire. Oh, let me put a giant screen TV on it. Yeah, it's like, oh. And even at the end, she's like, I'm glad you're staying hydrated, Dad, but I think this is a little excessive. And it's like, how do you normally get this done? Like, why do you need 8 full-size water things like in your house? Who is packed around the water cooler in your house? Why do you have a water cooler in your house? It's not an office. Like, don't you have a sink or like I don't know.
Some people do have water.
It's just an excuse to have her carry a bunch of stuff. And it's funny that she calls him out on it. That's what I was saying. I found that amusing. It's like the whole thing is just a bit. But yeah, so there's more to look forward to in upcoming episodes. Finding out more about these 7 soulmates, that could be absolute. I think that has potential to be hilarious. A bunch of failed, not even super villains, just like failed. And he's got to be like, Abomination's got to be the leader of these.
Yeah, because these guys, well, just by the looks of the picture you had up, I mean, they all kind of look hinky.
Yeah, they don't necessarily look as powerful as like someone like Abomination, because they're not going to transform into anything else. I don't think. Like that guy that's standing with the horns, like that's
supposed
the extent of what he looks like.
Thor knockoff.
I'm Minotaur Man, more man than Minotaur. Stuart. Oh, sorry I couldn't mod. I was having fun playing games. Stuart, it's no problem. It's almost never happened before. I mean, every once in a while you get one random person. This is like someone who was like, I'm furious and I'm going to take it out by doing this. You.
Yes, we were very popular.
It's just, oh man, I was like, I can't believe this guy's going this hard. Like at this show, like I feel flattered. He thought this was the best way to attack She-Hulk, was coming to this show and being like, I'm going to shut it down.
Joke's on you, dude.
Yeah, man. We appreciate the compliment, but no, I don't think so. It's not going to get it done. Anyway, I think that's about it for us here tonight on MCU Mondays. We have talked pretty thoroughly about the episode 2 and episode 1. Debbie, do you have any other thoughts on the show so far you wanted to share on this episode or anything?
No, I'm just excited to see who the next cameo will be, supposedly in this 3rd episode. So
yeah, I heard Daredevil was episode 4.
And that's
just a rumor, but
or maybe it's just going to be Wong. I don't know why that.
Wong could definitely be.
I don't know why that would flip us out because
everybody loves Wong. It's Wong. He's the Sorcerer Supreme.
He was in Multiverse and he was in some other shows and he's just popping up everywhere.
Yeah, they probably worked out a contract with him where they don't have to pay him as much as other people. So they're like, he can show up in everything and we're not going to get screwed. It's not like Tony Stark. He would show up for 10 minutes in a film. And then he's like, thank you for the $15 million. It's like, hey, you backed yourself into that corner by hinging so much on him being popular. And
Which he
luckily he was popular, but also, hey, that's what you get. But yeah, we're gonna have more cameos coming up, which I think again is a good way for something like She-Hulk to be looking at in the future. It can just be like a show of cameos every.
Yeah, because there's a lot of superheroes out, or not superheroes, but
super powered people. Yeah, and you can even make that even allows you to use. You don't have to use A-listers every time. Like she'll be representing some D-listers sometime, and that's gonna be funny as well. And these things don't have to clear up in one episode. It's not like here's one episode where we have the court case and the solution, and this could go over 2 or 3 episodes where it's in these 2 or 3 episodes we'll have this character is being represented, and then in these 2 or 3 episodes we'll have this case. She's working on this case now. So I think once they get the ball rolling, there's more opportunity. I think it is going to be tough to get the ball rolling with this one, but once they do, I think there's potential there.
Yeah, I think they're, at least for these 2 episodes, I think they're just still trying to set things up. I mean, they had to get her over to that other firm. So, this episode kind of explained that, and once it gets established, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah,
fingers crossed.
Well, we'll be talking about it here every Monday. Of course, there's new episodes of She-Hulk every Thursday. And yeah, Stuart, I was gonna say, he's like, sorry I wasn't there modding for you. I'm like, it's 3 a.m. where you are. I wouldn't expect that of you. I appreciate the fact that you're even willing to do it at all. So Stuart, no worries there. Just made the comments don't show up in the stream unless I select them. So obviously I didn't pick any of the spam to put up on the. Didn't have to worry about that. It was frankly, I think we found it more amusing than.
It didn't have the intent he was going for making us mad.
Can you? I'm not mad. I'm more incredulous. You wouldn't like me when I'm incredulous.
I was like, wow, that's pretty pathetic.
You're so dedicated to this. Why here? Why is this the hill that you're dying on? Sir, please.
I mean, there's a lot bigger shows than us on, that's for sure.
I know, that's what I'm thinking. But I don't know. Maybe this person was like, I'm furious about She-Hulk and I need you to express it. But then he wasn't saying anything related to She-Hulk, so I don't know. It was mostly just weird sex things. So anyway, yeah, so I had to block 30 accounts. Anyway, I'll count them up after the show. But that's it for us here tonight. Join us next week, where hopefully we'll be able to stick more to the actual topics and not have people going insane. But who knows? We never know what's going to happen. It's
It's always up in the air.
It's not like when we started the show today, I was like, all right, Debbie, before we begin, there's going to be a crazy person in the comments, and they're going to keep coming back with about 30 different profiles. And, we didn't know that going in. That's part of the excitement of doing a live show. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know when my internet's going to cut out. During this speech would have been a great time, but it didn't. So, we live with it.
Very true. Very true. We just roll.
We try to have some fun, and we talk about the show.
I always have fun.
Yeah, we have a good time.
Dan, all right, let me ask you this one time. What master do you serve?
What master do I serve? What am I supposed to say, Jesus?
I don't think that crazy guy.
I love that scene. Just Tony's expression there was just.
It's like they better kill me off soon. I can't keep dealing with all these idiots.
Oh gosh, I laugh at that every time I see it. Even when I watch the movie at home.
Anyways, that's it for us tonight here on MCU Mondays. We'll be back next week. Don't forget, I assume David has a show this week?
Thursday night. We are talking about the last 2 episodes of season 2, Twilight of the Apprentice, part 1.
Last 2 episodes of the Clone Wars.
No, Rebels.
Oh, Rebels. Okay.
Sorry.
I didn't know which show, but you were like, the last 2 episodes, Twilight, and I was like, oh my god, of The Apprentice? Okay. It's like, why are you talking about Twilight? No, it's a Star Wars show.
Not the vampire show, no.
It's the Cantina Happy Hour on Geek News Now, 9:30 Eastern on Thursday night. So if you want to talk Star Wars, that's where you gotta go. If you want to talk about more Marvel, we'll be back here next Monday.
Stuart's watched Orphan Black. Bless you, Stuart. Yes, great show.
And maybe we'll talk about that more next week. Anyway, that's it for the night. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Shit! Language. Wait a second. No one else is going to deal with the fact that Cap just said language? Just slipped out.
Find the scepter.
And for gosh sake, watch your language.
That's not going away anytime soon.
You bet your ass.
Steve, you said a bad language word.
Did you tell everyone about
The
that?
handle's imprinted.
Out with the platinum bastard.
Steve doesn't like that kind of talk.
You know what, Romanov?